Hi everybody, welcome to CJ's Fish Room up here in Canada. This is Vanier, part of Ottawa, Canada, Ontario, and I actually do different things in this fish room. It's slowly kind of going through its changes little bit by bit, but I figured I'd let you guys know some of the products I use. And first off, to show everybody what I use for my water, I actually have a favorite thing to use for water. A lot of people will be like, must be nice, you know. I've heard a lot of people go, you know, must be nice to use that, you know, it's expensive and all this, but it's the best thing that I can think of on the market, which is this stuff. This is what I use, Seachem Prime. I love this stuff. I recommend it highly. It keeps my water perfect. It's very pristine, and all the water in my tanks are pretty much clear, or pretty close to clear, and it's not that bad to use, honestly. I love this stuff. I highly recommend it for my aquariums. Also, I have other stuff I also use. When it comes to plants, it's also by Seachem. I use this stuff, Flourish. It's a very good brand of plant fertilizer. I've been using it for about over a month, maybe 2 months, and this stuff works very well. I have to eventually buy more, but yeah, I like this stuff, you know. I like Seachem's products. They tend to do very well. For fish food, I don't go too expensive, you know. My fish love the same stuff that I buy, which is Tetraman tropical food. I like Tetraman. They're a good brand too. I used to buy like Tetraman Color, but it was getting expensive, so I went back to the tropical. I've also used other brands like Omega 1. I've used Norfin Micro pellets, the 0.5 millimeter, and they're nice, but they're friggin' small, and it takes too much to feed the fish, and I just was getting tired of having so little for so much. And that's one of my big things, is I don't like to use pellets that much, because I find they're just a real hassle, and I like flake because it fills up my fish more. With pellets, you have to feed more, and they don't get as full. Like, I found that when I tried out Norfin community pellets, the 0.5, and that just did not help. It just did not at all. It made the fish hungry, and I'd have to throw in at least 3 or 4 pinches just to feed all the fish in my tank, because I tend to have a lot of fish, you know. It's not just 1 or 2. My fish are numbers. So I'll give you guys an idea of how much fish I have. You want to see how many fish I have? You'd be surprised. I have this tank, to give you guys an idea. This is just like my Daniel Endler Guppy Corridora tank. This tank isn't a little bit of fish. This tank has got a bunch. There's like Endlers in there. There's pepper corridor, chili corridor, panda corridor, and albino corridor, along with my Endlers and my black mollies and my zebra danios, and some swordtail fry that are in the fry trap. My little breeder box has them. You know, I've got like at least 4 different types of cories in there, plus some plants, some of the cories I raised. And then I got this tank, which is my guppy tank, with all my guppies that are like babies that have grown up, and more babies in there, you know. I've got a fair bit of guppies in there. Then I got this tank, which is my peppered Corydora baby tank that has swordtails, guppies, and some more molly fry, black molly, and the Dalmatian mollies, as well as orange swordtails, and my 5 to 6 peppered Corydoras that absolutely love it in there. So yeah, you know, I have like at least a good 6. And I got my little fish in there. So yeah, I need something that's very filling when it comes to feeding these fish. They get very hungry, and yeah. And I have the other female black molly in there with some of the babies that I decided to keep of my black mollies, because sometimes I sell these guys and I like to keep at least a few for good stock, you know. And eventually they're gonna have a bigger tank to live in, so I kept a few good fish to go, because once I get a bigger tank, there's gonna be a lot of changes. I'm gonna have like a lot more room spared up, because I'm planning on getting a 55-gallon after I get a tank stand for these 2 20-gallon longs. So I'll have a bigger tank for some of the other fish, and I'm gonna have a 75-gallon on my tank stand here, unless I go with another 55. But I'm aiming to go big and have a bigger tank for them. And I'm planning on putting filters in, I'm planning on putting heaters in, I'm planning on going all out and having my fish room actually grow a bit, because the populations always grow and spike. So I want to eventually actually have a tank for my fish and have it sprawled out, you know, have like enough room for every fish I have, plus maybe expand a bit more and try some more populations and start actually expanding the populations for each species a little and make some good fun. So that's what I have. You can definitely tell that, you know, it's gonna be a lot of work, but I'm up for the work because I like breeding my fish and I like raising them, and they always get to eat. There's just no shortage of that, you know. They get to eat, they get to survive and thrive, and they're happy Corys. And there you go. Albinos, Julie, peppered, and pandas. Very harmonious. Figured I'd show you that because when I was trying to show you the Julies were hidden. They kind of like to hide behind my driftwood, and I use Malaysian driftwood in my tanks. And for plant wise, right now the main plant that's sitting in most of my tanks is some Java fern. Not a whole lot, but I also have a little bit of Java moss, but mostly Java fern, because the ferns tend to be a little easier to use for like babies, and the ferns are very hardy. It's just right now there's a lot of transition going on, and for me I have to, you know, kind of look at all the stuff I can do for everything and kind of keep up with it all, because it's not that easy sometimes to keep up with everything, but I try my best in this room. Yeah, it's not always the most fun having so much for so little, but eventually it will come to pass, you know. Just a very, very hard thing sometimes to actually keep everything afloat and running and everything. So yeah, you know, takes a lot to do everything, but eventually it will all change, you know. I just hope, you know, everything changes well. And if you're wondering why I was going like this, it's because I have contacts in, and you know, it gets a little irritating when you first wake up, and I still have sleep in my eyes from sleeping and stuff. But yeah, there's always some good coming out of things. Yeah, you know. Excuse me. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty much fun. I figure I'd do this update with the other one, so I hope you enjoyed.